Welcome one and all to the koha-US December General Meeting. May as well get started. Hello. First on our agenda are announcements, and we have no announcements officially listed there. Fred has announced that he'll be in Gainesville this weekend. So if you're in Gainesville, find Fred and have breakfast.
Next week.
Oh,
Monday,
sorry, next week. Don't
flying
go
in
looking for
Monday.
Fred today.
No, flying in Monday, leaving Thursday.
Does anybody else have announcements? Looks like Jessie does.
I just want to say that Jason and Kristi gave wonderful presentations at Kohacon in New Zealand, and it was a wonderful time, and they did such a beautiful job representing the Koha community, the koha-US community, and their libraries. So big shout out to them.
I saw somebody asking in the ByWater Partners Slack when those Kohacon recordings would be posted. Does anybody here know when those will be?
Yep, Chris Cormack. So they were recorded as a full day, so it's in 8 hours. So Chris Cormack is working on breaking all of them up. He traveled right out of after the conference to take some of the attendees up to Rotorua to see some of the Maori cultural things up there. So I think once he gets back to home base, then those will be uploaded, and we'll make sure we send it out once those videos are uploaded as a follow-up.
Cool, thank you. Any other announcements?
I would say this is a side announcement, side suggestion. Christopher Brannon has still not created the broken out the recordings for the koha-US conference. I don't think those are available yet. So if anybody wants to send him an email reminder, I recommend that. So
I can do that. I, for a while, was pointedly not doing it to give him some room to think, but then I kind of just forgot about it.
Yes, I've offered to help him with that, and he keeps resisting help. So
Yeah,
a few more reminders, and maybe he'll ask for help, and I can step in and give him a hand with that.
I will make myself a note. Thank you,
I have
sir.
a few pictures from Providence, some of which do not feature a chicken. I could send in those if you think it would help.
If they don't have chickens in them, we don't want them.
Okay.
Threaten to send Christopher a picture of the chicken every day until the videos are posted. That'll get him
Okay.
moving.
Actually, I need to threaten myself because I still haven't annotated that one, or SLA, or MLA.
I have one. If you haven't been following the Koha Advent Calendar, that's got some really good information. I put the link in the chat there.
Yeah, if you want to spend your December learning a little new thing about Koha every day. Somewhere I have bookmarked the Koha Advent from a few years ago about how to make a plugin. In one of these days, I'm going to make my way through it and learn all the secrets of plugin creation. Okay, seeing nobody else jumping forward with an announcement, I think that brings us to new business. Oh, Kristi asked where the Koha Advent comes from. It's produced kind of collectively by the Koha developers. It's not super organized. There was a call a couple months ago. Hey, does anybody want to contribute to this thing? So yeah, entries are by a variety of folks.
Before we move on from announcements, Jessie was modestly did not mention her own presentation and Lizette's several presentations. Nick also led a workshop on Friday, so the people at ByWater also did a wonderful job presenting and teaching about Kohacon.
Very kind of you to include. Thank you. Good thinking. My God, they just do work. All right, so that brings us to new business officer elections. I have not yet sent out an official announcement of how the officer elections turned out, but there was not a lot of jeopardy in them, given that we had one candidate per position. So let me officially announce here that Kristi has been elected as our president-elect. Renee has been elected as our secretary, and Fred has been elected as our member at large for Unsupported. I thank them very much for volunteering for these positions. Thanks to everyone who voted. It's fun to see strong voter turnout, even when it's not the most contentious election in the world. And yeah, I feel very confident handing my presidency over to Chip and letting the organization move forward with a wonderful slate of officers. Tangential to that, George asked in the chat about membership renewals. When do folks get to renew their membership for 2026? And John responded that renewals will go out after next week's board meeting. I think that's all I've got for officer elections. Like I said, there will be a unofficially email going out and be coordinating with Christopher the handoff of accounts and so forth.
Thank you for your service, Andrew.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks to everyone else who served on the board with me, to Kristi for helping all these meetings happen. Takes a village, especially when I don't know what I'm doing. So thank you all for being engaged and excited members.
You know what you're doing.
Sometimes. That brings us to 2026 conference location proposals. Chip, do you have exciting news for us?
Come up. Yes, we're well, it's exciting news with an asterisk, because we were planning to hold a vote, even though we only have one contender right now. So it's going to be in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and they've got a really nice facility there that, yeah, it should be pretty awesome. I meant to have a link to their meeting space page ready, but yeah, so yeah, the only holdup is again trying to remind Christopher that I need a vote page set up. And yeah, so I guess we do still want to vote, even though it's going to be just Fayetteville or abstain. And the background on that is that we had the conference committee had some deep discussions about the feasibility of the other proposal, which was from the State Library of Utah. And we very much appreciate the State Library's interest, but their venue was in an office park that had no restaurants or hotels in walking distance. And even though there was a light rail option, it just didn't seem feasible for us to hold the conference there. So I broke the news to them. And yeah, so and the dates, I don't want to get them wrong.
I got them.
You got them. Okay.
It's
There.
the
Okay.
August 18th through August 20th.
So that's a Tuesday through Thursday. We're going with the 3-day conference, and yeah, the venue is fantastic. We have one piece of business probably for the conference committee, and then the board is they have requirement of a security deposit that it might be possible to waive for us. So anyway, we'll talk about that in conference committee. And I think that kind of covers it.
I was also trying to click over to their website and find their page that lays out all of their meeting room spaces and such. There's a dance studio and a teaching kitchen. So if you have conference proposals that involve a dance studio or a teaching kitchen, I'll be excited.
Yeah, yeah. And Fayetteville has been great to work with. They almost never let anybody use their space for free, and they're giving us a scholarship, so to speak. And yeah, so what's cooking stage at ALA? That'd be great. Oh, there it is. Andrew posted the link, and they they talked me into the big event center that can accommodate a banquet of 400 people. So we'll have plenty of space to grow there if we use the whole thing. So very exciting. And yeah. Thank thank you, Fred, for your comment. So yeah. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and Jesse mentioned that we did a lot of dancing at Round Rock year before last, or I guess just
Okay.
last year. So, if you've been practicing your line dancing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Any other conference questions or comments before we move forward? Hearing none, I think that brings us to George for an update on the Koha Charitable Foundation.
The Koha Charitable Foundation is meeting in sometime in, I don't think it's quite determined yet, sometime in December, either the 8th, the 15th, or the 22nd, to kind of finalize what it's been doing and move that process forward to actually establishing a board with the OLF. And they did a lot of work on that at the Kohacon in New Zealand that I wasn't a part of because I didn't go to New Zealand. But the message is that, the meeting we're going to have in December, we'll do a final review of the bylaws. We'll talk about what the nomination process to be a member of that board will be like. And then they'll create a task list for what the incoming board needs to do to finalize this stuff to become a member of the OLF, and then a small number of people from the existing task force will probably stay on to help that board navigate through what it needs to do to become a member of the OLF. I will not be going forward participating in that board because I got myself elected to the Aspen Discovery Governance Board, and so I don't think I can justify doing both, spending the time on doing both. But currently, one of my concerns about the Koha task force has always been that there are like 11 people on that task force, and only 2 or maybe 3 of us aren't working for vendors. So it would be nice if anybody is interested in participating in the Koha community by being a part of this OLF board, consider doing that so that there's some representation from actual libraries, and that it's not just entirely the Koha Foundation isn't entirely governed by vendors. I've got nothing against the vendors. It's just that I think it's really important. Yeah, I see Nate's giving me the thumbs up. I got nothing against the vendors that have been part of this task force. Everything about it has been really great. And I think in the Koha community, everybody's got the best interests of Koha at heart, but I think it's really important that the libraries have have something to say in that group as well, and that it just not be a monolithic collection of people that work for vendors, making decisions about how the Koha community will interact with OLF. So I won't be able to continue doing it, but I encourage anybody else that is even slightly interested, try and take part. I don't imagine it will be Now that we have bylaws written and we have all that stuff done, I don't imagine it's going to be a lot of work or a huge commitment of time, but I do think it's important that some libraries get involved. So that's all I got left to say about that.
Thanks, George. Yes, please all search your hearts and your schedules. And if you're able to participate, please do. It's a pretty unique opportunity to be so directly like involved in the steering of a software product that you use every day. If I could get on the Gmail steering committee, I would do so. Not that steering committee is the word. Any other thoughts or comments on that? Well, then that brings us to an update from Kohacon 25, which we've talked about a little bit. But those of you who attended, do you have observations, praise, gripes? What was the worst thing that happened to you at Kohacon?
Gosh, no gripes. It was truly a phenomenal conference. Catalyst and the other, like they were bent over backwards to host like an amazing, very hospitable conference. And yeah, just a lot of wonderful presentations. Learned a lot about New Zealand and Maori people and culture. That I'm not doing justice to any of it. So Jason and David, who is attending, I'll introduce David Nind if you don't know him. He's a longtime contributor to the Koha community. He does a lot with documentation and bug testing. And I finally got to meet him in person a couple of weeks ago, which was a real treat. So David, if you had any thoughts you wanted to share from the conference. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it was great to meet people in person. I hadn't new people and people that I hadn't met in person for a long time. So that was probably the greatest thing. And yeah, and hearing what everyone was doing and the working together. It's quite a long 7 days, but the break in the middle to play cricket, and for those who don't know how to play cricket, was fun. And so yeah, no, it was really well, and the working together days were good. The time just flew. So and yeah, I guess the only gripe I have is I didn't have to do all the travel that those attended had to, because it's a long way to come. So I think we really appreciate people doing that, and hopping on that, sticking in a plane for hours on end. And so yeah, thank you for everyone who came. It was great to see people in person.
Yeah, the 13-hour, 14-hour flights were killer, but definitely worth it. I would definitely recommend going if you ever get the chance. The conference was, like Kristi said, phenomenal. There was a lot of Maori culture woven in. Like we did the power at the start, which was really cool, and all the keynotes were on Indigenous talks and things like that. So I definitely recommend checking out the recordings when they come out. I think the most important thing I learned is that Chop Suey always needs to be on the karaoke list, and Nate always needs to be in the room.
Oh, God. Thanks, Jason. I don't know if it's true, but
No, you got 100% on that. It was truly phenomenal.
I think 100% of the ears in the room were bleeding.
But no, it was a great time. I took some notes. I'll try and compile and share. I don't know. Yeah, it was just good. There was a roadmap conversation on the last day that I found like especially informative, and just stuff that the developers are planning on working on at Hackfest and things like that. So we talked about BibFrame, we talked about ILO, we talked about the future of AI and Koha, There's a permissions overhaul coming in the pipeline, a CERC overhaul. So lots of cool like things to watch out for.
Thanks for posting the notes on the working together days, Jessie. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in there. It just even reading through, if you weren't like, you don't have to have attended to just read through it and just still get an understanding that there's a lot of good ideas kicking around there and a lot of people willing to work together on it.
Yeah, I have really nothing to add that everybody else hasn't already said. It was a phenomenal conference. It was great to see the other vendors that are such an integral part of this community, to hear kind of the challenges that each vendor is having globally. The industry is interesting right now. It was great to see the growth and adoption of Koha internationally and, how much it's really kind of taking hold, not only in the United States, but elsewhere. And yeah, all the cultural stuff was just amazing. The Maori data rights, all that kind of stuff was really, really cool. And it's great to hang out with people globally who we work with on a day-to-day basis. So that's always a pleasure. And the 18-hour flight for me was 100% worth it. I would go there for a weekend. I love New Zealand so much. It's a really great place. But yeah, lots of great developments coming up though. That was really the biggest highlight. And everybody's on board. It wasn't like this chorus of no, it was hell yeah, let's do this. So it's really a collaborative community and it still is going very strong after all of these years. So it was very refreshing to see that.
I always forget specifically how the location rotation for Kohacon works. I know it moves continent to continent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
it can't be in the same continent unless no one puts in a bid. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say thanks to those like Jessie and PT and Open Fifth for doing the videos and interviews, and they were great. And I'll try and put a post on the Koha social media, just linking them all together. So, but yeah, Open Fifth, ByWater, obviously, some great videos and interviews with JoAnn and Chris and all the vendors and some of the other people in the Katrin and some of the other people in the community. It was great to see those as well. Thanks.
Yeah, and David did some great presentations as well. I think it wasn't mentioned. The last thing I want to say is it was really excellent to see people who have left the community, i.e. retired or moved to different jobs. They came back for this conference, and the amount of respect and gratitude that was shown to them, it was just really heartwarming. JoAnn was at the library that started Koha, and she's been jumping around. She's back in libraries now, but it was so great to see her and hear her excitement for where things are going and how it looks right now. And Bob and Irma from Calyx, right? That's what their company was called? I'm sorry, it's been a while, but they're in Australia. They retired a few years ago. They showed up and it was really just really cool. So it's long lasting. These relationships, they're not just software. It's really, really awesome. I'll stop rambling now.
Yeah, no, it's I think towards the end there was sort of like people were digging up photos from 20 plus years ago of people from, like, somebody found a picture of like Chris Cormack and Paul Poulin from a long time ago. And it was just good to see that the people that have built the software have just put so much into it. And yeah, it's a long timeline.
I can't say anything other than it was really emotional being together. And like, I did a lot of crying, but that's just because I wear my heart on my sleeve. But it was just so warming to be with people who truly care about each other and about the community. It's really, really wonderful.
And I will just one final note say that Jason and I both said very, very good things about koha-US in our presentations. We had slides calling out koha-US, inviting people to come to our meetings and maybe even present next year. So, yeah.
That seems like a good note to end on. A little celebration of what we've got here, our little subset of that community. Well, thank you all for that update. I hope if you can swing it, you'll consider heading to Kohacon next year in Germany and some future Kohacon that lands closer to home. I think that moves us into open discussion. I will add, I probably should have said this in announcements. If you're not aware, Koha version 2511 is to be released on Friday. So that's coming right up, including lots of cool features and exciting stuff. I think we just had the first Monday Minutes video that previewed some 2511 content. I'm sure there will be more of those. But otherwise, what are y'all doing in Koha? What's exciting or challenging, or what do you want to talk about?
Not new and exciting, but how long will the LTS 2411 version be supported?
That's a really good question that I do not have an answer for, but can find an answer for.
Oh.
You make a note.
There was a chat on the Koha community, and it's about 3.5 years. Yeah, and so it's generally every second version 11, so 2211, 2411. Sorry. Yeah. And then, yeah, so it's about 3.5 years anyway.
Thank you.
Compared to the normal 18 months for a normal, roughly for a normal release where you get maintenance and bug fixes.
Yeah, any day now, which I've been saying for the last year, I'm going to redo my installing Koha in half an hour video. I don't think I can do it until my cough goes away.
I just put into chat the Koha wiki page on Koha versioning, which has a nice shiny table that shows how long each version will be supported, and has 2411 supported through the release of 2711. So what David said, but in a graph.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we complicated things for ourselves when we decided on LTS version, but I think Katrin spent a lot of time trying to figure out the table and how to describe the supported versions and how long they last. Yeah.
It's a good idea that we can all aspire to being smart enough to implement.
Well, for those of us who have other things to do and aren't supported by a vendor, having something stable for a long time is very helpful. And I thank all of you, especially Katrin.
Yeah, upgrades are fun, but they are hard, and you maybe don't want to just upgrade all the time forever. I very much understand. Any other bugs, issues, etc. that people wish to discuss? It's a bug.
I filed a bug like a week or so ago that I thought I would point out to everybody. There is a column that was added to the database in I don't remember where, but it's in 2405. There's this new column, force password reset when set by staff. And it's not that actual column, it's in the categories table. and it doesn't contain any sensitive data, but it's filtered by the filters that prevent you from writing reports on fields with sensitive data. So I put that into Bugzilla, and so far nobody has even, it hasn't gotten any traction, but it's just a minor thing. When you write a report and you try to get that data out of the categories table, it's going to say that that is a forbidden column, but it shouldn't be. So, but that could be fixed pretty easily, probably. So there's a bug in there for that, and I just wanted to bring that up.
Thanks, George. Yeah, I understand why reports don't want us to pull password fields out of the database and show them to people. But I do get frustrated every time I try to say select all from borrowers and it won't let me do it.
Yeah,
So
and
keep me running.
the original bug is I guess it's in there. It's 37508 created this part of the reports PM, I think it is, where it automatically blocks you from using the word password in a report. But then it has a whitelist for certain fields that don't contain sensitive data. And when that field got added, the forced password reset when set by staff got added to that table. Nobody thought to add it to that whitelist. So I think it'd be an easy fix, but it'd be an excellent fix maybe for the baby devs group to look at if there's anybody here from the baby devs group that maybe wants to bring that up and look at it. It might be a simple patch they could work on. I don't know. I don't know if anybody is here from that group or not. So
Anybody from southeastern Kansas, maybe.
Baby Devs meets next week. Anybody can come and write a patch. You should join us, George.
I should. I often don't go to that meeting because it seems like there's something else I'm doing
It's
on
right
that
after the
Thursday.
consortia sig next week, so you'll already be in Zoom land, koha-US Zoom land.
I'm trying to remember if it's maybe an issue where I have to leave work and go pick up kids at school. Might be why I don't come to that. So I'll look at my calendar and see if I can fit that in. So
I can't recommend baby devs highly enough, if only to come figure out how to run a Koha testing Docker, because there's no joy like having your own indestructible, renewable Koha system that runs on your computer that you can do whatever you want to. You can really just break everything and then throw it away and make a new one, as opposed to breaking everything on your live Koha system and then having a bad day.
You'd never do that on a live system, would you?
Not on purpose.
testing stuff on a live system, I find, is the quickest way to learn how to do something, because it's like, oh crap, I broke everything. Now I've got to fix everything as quickly as possible.
That's why I always create a backup to play with. I know I'm going to break something, and I'd rather break the backup.
But that's no fun.
Well, yeah. I actually have a virtual box image that I created in my server, and I keep forgetting to download it and test it at work. If it works there. If so, maybe I'll put it up on the Avenging Chicken site.
Cool.
And okay, I have another one. I don't know if this belongs here or in the cataloging group or somewhere else. I posted it in Mattermost and don't think I got a reply. Is there an easy way to make the 856Z field visible in the OPAC? I mean, I can certainly go in and modify the XSL file, which sometimes gets wiped out during the upgrade.
Well,
Yeah.
define visible in the OPAC. Do you mean like in the bib details block or in the mark view? It's really easy to make it visible in the mark view.
Yeah. No.
And Jesse's looking for the patch that Lucas recently wrote that actually adds an easier way to add it to the bib details than modifying the XSLT. I see that I'm looking for a bug face. But yeah, there previously, so you're looking at a record detail in the OPAC. You've got that sort of nicely formatted chunk of bibliographic information, and that's all your mark data filtered through an XSLT style sheet, which is not the hardest thing in the world to edit, but also not the easiest. It's a big, like, dense block of logic that says, okay, if this mark field has a value and the indicator is blah, 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 put it here. And one certainly can go in there and edit that to show other mark fields. But Lucas did recently code an easier way to do that. I think it's template toolkit based. And it's in 2511.
Can it be used on 2411?
Don't believe it has been backported.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've done enough XSLT editing. I know sort of what I'm doing. I'll have to test it on something else first. Just, we have a whole series of about 5,000 books that we get 3 uses, and then their access is cut off, or we have to buy it or something. And it would be nice to say limit 3 uses. If it's blocked, contact the librarian. And I thought it was at some point, but then I went back into the OPAC view and I didn't see it.
Joining Jesse now and looking for bug face. What did he call it? What did he call that bug? And yeah, I guess ultimately it won't help you immediately because it will not be in your version of Koha.
A relatively easy fix on a test version.
So I think this already works in our version, so you may be able to look at the like XSLT style sheet for the current version of Koha and just find that chunk, because I just put something in the Z and it's showing up in my OPAC in the link text.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Found it. And that's the downside of editing your XSLT style sheet. Most folks are on the default version of the XSLT style sheet, so they're just sort of displaying the records in the same way everybody else in Koha does. And then if the Koha community collectively adds a new field there, you get that update in your Koha upgrade. But if you move yourself over to a custom XSLT style sheet, then you don't get those updates automatically. You get to add whatever you want, but also you're responsible for anything that's going to get added. And if a new mark field is birthed, I don't know, where do new mark fields come from? Descends from heaven.
You can create a mark field with pretty much anything you want. I mean, the author's catalog I do and need to update has an 858 field for ORCID ID. And how often do XSLT files get modified to the point where the one used in pull a one at random 2411 will not function?
I'd be surprised if it ceased to function, but I do think there are a tweak or two to those style sheets in most releases.
Okay. Again, mine is displaying what I want, and I don't really care about anything else, at least for the author's catalog.
Fair.
But there's minor tweaks I can deal with. Complete revision. Oh, please, no.
Now I'm pausing in case anyone else unmutes and leaps in with an exciting question.
I just came to creep, but then while we're plugging bugging, I thought I would go ahead and plug this one. Is it mine? Yes. We have a new policy where I can now delete patrons that have been expired for over 3 years, whether or not they have fines. And right now I have to do this very roundabout-y thing where I need to create a report, manually check in all those items, and then go and make them all unavailable or withdraw them, and then run a report and give that to ByWater to help me clear those folks out. And that won't be hard once I start doing this monthly, but this first initial batch I've been working on for a few weeks, and I'm slowly whittling away at it. But I believe, if my understanding is correct, this bug will help me batch do that in a way. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I see that this is a bug filed by Annika, who's the head of the data department at ByWater, and I understand why they would like to give every
Yes,
library
I
the
bet.
power to do this themselves.
Yeah, she's helping me now with my current. Yeah.
Yeah, and putting on my ByWater hat, I know we've been working to code out some of these things that are things that ByWater ends up doing a lot of as support tickets that we would love for people to just be able to take care of themselves.
What I see is that you're just creating more work for me.
But I know we've just been working on the ability to restore deleted borrowers and deleted items and bibs, which is fun. A fun new development for when you accidentally delete somebody or something.
Are there any bugs you can point us to for that work?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's based on the idea of that's been around for a while about not moving those things to a different table, but just creating a flag and it says deleted or not deleted.
It is not, because
It is
nobody
different.
quite has the
Okay.
gumption to take that on. Because that's
I've been wondering if anybody had the gumption to take that on, because I didn't think anybody was biting at that. So
it's one of those big database changes that everybody agrees would be cool to have done, but also feels like it's going to break a lot of things in the process. Yes, there's the bug for restoring deleted borrowers and the bug for undeleting items and bibs. Both of those are signed off but not QA'd yet. They won't be in 2511, but they really should be in 2605. And both of those have a bunch of caveats on them, because there are certainly parts of either borrowers or bibs that when you delete them, they are gone forever. But a lot of it can get restored.
to explain what I was wondering, the reason for why I asked for those bug numbers, there's been an idea floated around in Koha for a long time about a different way to delete borrowers and to delete items and delete bibs. Right now, if you delete an item, the data for that item gets moved from items into deleted items. And Koha's, and that's same is true for bibs and bibliometadata and all these different fields that moves from from the main table to a deleted table. And the idea is to just create a flag in the items table that would say item is deleted or not deleted. And people don't want to tackle that. The developers don't want to tackle that because it's a major it's a major change in how the database works. And so nobody has been willing to tackle that, but this looks like a completely different direction. So on the one hand, that creating a flag in the table that would just turn those things on or off would be a really easy way to solve this one problem, but it would create so many other problems that nobody wants to tackle it. And it wouldn't be that it's creating other problems because it's a bad idea. It's just because Koha has been built to work with this way, and it would be like changing the engine from gasoline to diesel. It would just be a huge change. So.
Well, we're a tad early, but
I just
go for it.
I just have 3 related bugs that I'm putting in the chat that everybody's probably sick of hearing me complain about, but I figured I haven't complained about them to this group yet, I don't think. It's got to do with the way holds are trapped and filled, and something was done that got changed, I guess, at the end of September to, I don't know, to please another system or whatever, and it broke things the way that we've been using them. So I think there is a possibility of system preferences that could be implemented to undo these changes so that we can continue working the way we had been previously. And I just wanted to call that out because I'm a broken record.
Yeah, so bug, this all started with in Koha, if you check out an item that could fill a hold for a patron, even if that item is not yet waiting for them. So like I put in a hold on a new book, and then before the staff goes and gets it off the shelf for me, I come in and get it myself and check it out. Koha will fill that hold. It'll take it off my account because I checked that thing out. But that was creating problems in some cases where it was filling that hold, even though the item I checked out really
Not
shouldn't have
holdable.
filled the hold, was not
Right.
holdable.
Yeah. They're on the same bib record, but like, for example, a Lucky Day book for the express books.
Yeah.
And those we never wanted those to fill the bib level holds that were existing, because people sometimes will come and check them out. They'll have them for a week. They can't finish the book, but they're like, oh, I'll get a head start on it and keep my hold in place. And now that's not happening.
Yeah.
I think we're actually dealing with that too, in that instead of Lucky Day collection, we have a suppressed collection where temporary suppressing for at least 2 years because they're going to storage. But instead of being returned and then sent directly to storage, it's automatically filling. So it's just like floating, and we don't want it to. So I think I might talk to Mollie. No, it was Renee who brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my understanding, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My understanding is that bug 40792 there will correct the problem created by bug 38650.
Okay.
40792 is currently at failed QA, but is on the priority list to get actually fixed there.
Awesome.
And then bug 20955 is the broader issue of all of this, where if you turn on the system preference that lets you place holds that violate your hold policies, it lets you place those holds, but it doesn't ever fill those holds. So
Right.
it's kind of a system preference to allow you to create busted holds. And
Yes.
it's kind of a dumb mess that the community has been arguing about how to fix it for some time.
Okay. Yeah, I know we traced it back to September 30th was when it stopped working correctly for us.
Yeah, and I think September 30th is when you got the code from bug 38650.
Probably.
So, yeah, there are weirdnesses around unholdable items and hold policies and hold overrides.
Yeah, and they're all like these three, they're all kind of like intermeshed. That's why I always, every time I've been complaining about it, I just post all three bugs because
Every time I talk about holds for any length of time, I have to go like take a break and sit down and stare at the wall. It gets complicated.
Trauma.
Yeah.
I almost wish there were like another parallel hold system in which all of these things could be taken care of, because we have issues where people want to put, like staff will want to put a hold on a lucky day item, right? And they get it when it comes back to put a sticker on it or something. And of course they can't. And then of course we have all these issues where you just have these edge cases and I don't even know how I'd get my head around it. But at the same time, we'd have staff complaining that there were messed up holds because somebody overrode something when they shouldn't have overridden something. And so we create a whole other group of set of problems for ourselves by allowing people to override hold restrictions. And
Yeah, it seems like part of the solution here does need to be breaking apart that system preference to say, yes, you can override this part of the hold policy, but not this part, kind of because there are several different ways you can override hold policies. And it's just the one switch for all of it. And then probably some more granular permissions as well to say this person gets to place an 11th hold when our limit goes to 10. And this person gets to place a hold on an item that should not be holdable at all. This person gets to place a hold on an item that would require a transfer that's against the transfer limits.
This is something you're very, very, very rarely going to hear me say, but there was a thing in Voyager that was called an administrative hold that would, hearing what Ben is saying, and there was a way for staff to place an administrative hold, and it was a hold that a staff member could place that overrode any restrictions on the way that a hold was placed, and it was available only in the staff client. So that might be something to suggest as a way for staff members to be able to place an administrative hold that would just violate all the rules and everything would be okay with that. So
that makes sense for like the catalog or
Sierra had a similar.
Yeah.
If staff overrode it, then it would fill and it would be a valid hold based on staff override.
yeah, that's one that we'd like just to complicate this because of why would I leave without making it harder? You'd want also, though, be able to integrate with the non-priority holds, which is something we use fairly frequently. So you want to override everything except this one thing that I specifically don't want you to override.
in Voyager, the administrative hold was just like any other hold, and there was a way to make it to call it. There was a way to call any hold a lowest priority hold, like pinning it to the bottom of the holds list. So. That's actually this meeting's being recorded, so there's actually a recording of me saying there was something I liked about Voyager. What a horrible world we live in.
I'll haunt you with that forever.
It happens. We were with Olive for a time on part of a consortium, and I still long for the Olive holding record. it would solve so many problems in Koha that holding records would be great.
Then I'd have to understand how holding records work, which is doable.
Valerie, I believe at ByWater Solutions, has said that she would like to see holding records in Koha.
Well, now we're quite close to our official meeting end time. Does anybody have more thoughts or concerns?
I put a link into the Koha advent calendar in case they hadn't been mentioned already. Yeah, it's a bit developer focused, but there'll be some interesting tidbits, I think. So I think it's the first time it's been done since 2020. So yeah, some interesting stuff will appear eventually.
Today's was on like the automated screenshots, which Caroline talked about at the Hackfest portion. It was really interesting, like how they're doing that to translate all the screenshots in the manual automatically. And that's like some place that seems pretty reasonable if you wanted to jump in on documentation and help. It's something that you could help with without much technical know-how, depending on how complicated it is to grab that part of the screen.
Well, with that, I think that draws this meeting to a close. Hey, thank you all for coming to this meeting and all the Koha general meetings this year. It's been a pleasure serving as your president. I look forward to becoming an immediate past president and showing up with a drink in my hand.
Well done.
Well done. Thank you, Andrew.
Congratulations on living through a whole year of that. So.
Oh, thank you. I will see some of you in the conference planning committee meeting shortly over in the other Zoom.
Andrew, thank you for being such an energetic and athletic koha-US president.
That's probably the first and only time anyone has ever called me athletic, and I thank you for it.
Yeah, but you didn't post it. No, you're the first president I've seen run around the room.
Well, yeah, I do get overexcited in live conference.
Very well, everyone.
Have to run more. Okay, goodbye.